Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to Photoshop. And what we need to do here is make these two slivers or whatever red, like here, right? And then these two guys here are those little shooters. And this is part of the shooters too, believe it or not. So we need to make this also red. Okay, so let's see if we can do that. Same principle. Let's go ahead and make a new layer, press P, and this time I'm going to go a little faster so that you guys, now that you guys know, you can just follow along, and it's the same thing. I might actually fast forward this part completely unless I say something that I think you guys would benefit from. There we go. Great. Once again, to get the circles here, get the little circle here. Actually, yeah, we'll do that later. Let's go ahead and press P. Okay. Let's go to our paths here, and if we command click that, we see that all of that is doing good. And I'm going to double click on it and just go past 3. Okay, and I'm going to do a new path. Let's go ahead and select this again. Okay, and if you shift click, well, if you press shift, it comes a little plus sign, and you can just add another selection like that. And so we've got 2 selections here, and we are going to make a new path. I can just put new path, math 4. No, I can't. There we go, work path. It has to be work path first, and then we double click on it and select it as, and save it as path 4. Okay, so now everything that we did, these guys and these guys, we're going to fill it in. Okay, so I selected both paths by clicking on the little thumbnail here and then shift clicking on path 4. So they're both selected. I go to a new layer. Okay, and we're going to fill this with red, like a nice bright red like that. Okay, and if you do Alt delete, you pick the foreground color. Okay, and then if you do Command or Control D, it deselects the marching ants. Okay, so here we go. Now we can do it this way, the way I just did it here, or if you want to match what I did over here, which will give you a little more control. And let's go ahead and let's do that. What I do also is we deselect it, and you do an Alt Delete, fill it with red, go into your paths, Command click on path 3, and Shift Command click on path 4 to add that selection of path 4 to path 3. Go to your layers and then pick add layer mask. Okay, and so now it's just a mask, which is great. And so now go here into your modes or whatever and pick multiply. And obviously this is different from this one because there is there's orange behind there. Okay, but I'm not too worried about it. But I mean, if it really concerns you, I would just make this gray too, and we could do that by making another layer, and selecting this. Oops. We want a rectangular. And then maybe just adding a hue and saturation to that, bringing down the saturation and there you have it. You have it as a grayscale, and then when you turn that on, it's going to match these other guys here, right? And you can do that same thing over here, and we can actually, let's see, yeah, pick these two guys here. We got to pick the mask and fill it in. So go to paths, click on that, go here, and we control delete, and that hue and saturation will be applied to that area, right? Okay, so there we go. So now everything's looking good. Do a save and Command Shift S, and go here again and save it as a JPEG. 2000 JPEG, and save it. It's going to tell you do you want to replace it? Yes, you do. Say okay. Let's go back to After Effects. Once again, pick the body, and it doesn't automatically update, so you got to pick the body, and you know it's the same one. Just say okay, and then it will update. And so now we have it looking pretty good, right? So it's affecting this red area here, looking good. We're going to press OK just to see what it looks like here. Okay, looks good, right? All right, wonderful. It's getting to look very, very good. Now, this is pretty much done. Okay, wonderful. So now, let's go on to the different the other parts of the model. And so if you go here to your JPEGs, you'll see that you have the wing. So you want to grab the wing. Let's start with the arm. So the arm diffuse, and you want the body diffuse we just did. We want the wing diffuse also, and we're going to just right click and pick open with, where is it? It says open here. It doesn't have open with. I just noticed that because I picked two of them, but that's okay. So open with Photoshop, go back here, open with Photoshop. Okay. All right, so same thing that we're going to do, but we don't have to, mess with little parts of the JPEG. We just want it to match this black. We just want it to match this this gray here, right? The light gray to match this. So what we do to make things easier, since we've done all the hard work over here, we go ahead and remove the tab from over here, and while selecting this, select layer 1 where it has this gray, and you do a shift drag over into this document, and it will fill perfectly. Okay, let's bring this back up. Let's go over here. It fills perfectly. However, it's not the same picture, right? Because this layer mask is off. So we're going to have right click that and put delete. And once again, come over here, double click on that to unlock, go into select and pick color range. Once again, pick that color range, right? That gray. Say okay. Put the eyeball on, pick this layer and pick layer mask. There you have it. I'm going to go ahead and do a save. And so we're going to save as, I'm going to do it save as a JPEG, and we're going to do diffuse 2 because I've already done diffuse 1, and say okay. So this one's all set. Let's go here to the wing, and the wing's a little different because I did two things with the wings. Once you make this dark like gray, this doesn't stick out as much, and so we want to make this lighter and this that dark gray. Once again, let's go here to where we did all the hard work. Shift drag this over here, bring this back up, and delete this layer mask by delete layer mask by right clicking on it. Once again, select our layer, go to filter, select, and go to color, range, pick our gray, say OK, come up here and add a layer mask. Now this is all dark. Now we want this part to be lighter, right? So what we're going to do, double click on that to take out the lock, is we're going to do another one, a select. Well, first we'll pick the color we want it to go to, and this is a good color. It's a light gray, which is actually this gray here, right? It's the light gray, but I mean, whatever. You could pick any color, but I wanted a light gray. So I actually picked the original light gray here, and I say OK. And I do an Alt-Delete to fill it. Turn that off, come back here, do a select, color range, and now I'm going to pick this gray here. And everything that's white is being selected, okay? And we want it so that it's more of the wings than anything else. So, I mean, if you, depending on where you click on it, because there's these little lines here, you might not pick exactly what you want, but what you want is when it's, the wings are mostly white. Say okay. Okay, and come back over here, turn this on, and layer mask it. And then when you turn this one on, you get this. Okay, so now we go ahead and we save this. Command-Shift-S, and pick a JPEG, and I'm putting a diffuse 2 here for the wings. Say save, and that should be all set. Let's go ahead and apply it to our After Effects file. Once again, bring up your scene setup, and now what we're going to do is pick the wing that we did, go to diffuse, click on this, go to where we're supposed to go, and what are we doing? Wing? Is that what you're doing? Yeah, wing. Okay, so sometimes it's hard to see here. I'm going to just go like this. So we need wing, diffuse 2. Say okay, and that looks good, doesn't it? Say okay here and okay here, and we also did the arm. And arm, pick this, and arm, where's arm? Arm, where are you? Arm, up here. Arm, diffuse 2, and say okay. And say, all right, okay. So now, here we go. Our TIE fighter looks awesome. Awesome possum. Okay, there you go. And now, huge difference from what we had before, right? And once you get this into your scene, then of course you can play around with different lights. I like to put on a light here, like a blue light, but some gray light's good. And just put that over there and just play with it and have a good time lighting it up. You know, that might be too much. You know, you could put some kind of a color to the light. Maybe it, you know, it's reflecting sky, so maybe it's a little, you know, a little bluer, that sort of thing. Give it a little blue tint to it, and also do a new adjustment layer. Bring up your curves and drop that there, and go ahead and you know, give it some contrast. I like to crush the blacks here. Okay, and that looks pretty good, right? Pretty good. The light might be a little too strong, and we can lower that intensity of the light. That looks really, really good, I think, especially compared to what we were working with when we first got the model. Okay, but that looks great. And there you have it, guys. And now you can go ahead and start making your scene. And I'm going to give you a little background story. What I was going to do was a totally different tutorial. I want to do this scene, and this is going to come up on our next one. And this is why you might think, well, what am I doing all this for? Well, you want it to look good, right? So if let's go ahead and bring up this guy here. And what I would like to do is this, hopefully, this scene here, where there you go, you got the X fighter going in there, and you can see there's a lot of motion blur there, but you can see that there's some red there. He's black, blah, 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 and then, you know, he gets blown up here. So I'd like to go ahead and do this scene here, teach you guys how to make a scene like this. But as soon as I brought in the TIE Fighter, I was like, it doesn't look like this. So what can we do to make it look like this? And that's where I make it look like this. Obviously, it doesn't look exactly like that, but you know, with tweaks and stuff like that, you can make it look pretty darn good. Okay, certainly a lot better than what you had compared to my first one here. First one, it looks like I went with lighter gray here, and that kind of worked a little better than that. You know, or it could be the lighting as well. See, lighting does crazy things to your scene. Obviously played with the other one a lot more. All right, so thank you once again. It's a starting up channel right now. If you guys like it, if you guys learned anything at all, go ahead and subscribe to it. Not every tutorial will be useful for you guys, but hopefully if you guys can pick up one or two things here and there, that'll be awesome. All right, guys. Like I said, keep subscribe for more videos. I would like to do this a little more often than I do now, and that will be based on if you guys kind of like getting something from this and you guys want to see more of what I can do and what I can teach. So yeah, thank you once again. I'll catch you guys on the next tutorial. Bye bye.